everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Francesca, and today I am building a self-sufficient family farmhouse or a homestead with a farmhouse. I don't know what to call this building. I don't even know what I'm gonna call the video, but anyway, it's a farmhouse with a garden with a lot of planters and a greenhouse. And I'm building in a world of Brindleton Bay, the world that comes with cats and dogs. When I started building this house, I actually started in the cottage living world, but I hate the lighting there. It makes everything look too green, and the colors of the building didn't really pop out because you'll see that later on. But this house has a lot of warm colors, especially a lot of browns. We have a dark red roof, and the lighting there really ruined the vibes for me, and most importantly ruined the screenshots, so it was a big no for me. So I decided to move here. I want to explain a little bit the idea behind this house because I kind of mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but first let me explain why I've been quiet lately on YouTube. I started building this house like 2 weeks ago, and it took me a really long time to finish this project because I put really a lot of effort into making it as detailed as possible. I kept adding stuff, especially debug stuff, and there's also a lot of landscaping going on. That also explains why this video is so long, so excuse me for that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why. And the other reason is that I was sick for a week or so. I had this headache which didn't want to go away, and because of that, I wasn't really feeling like sitting down in front of a screen. However, I have to admit that I did play a little bit with Dreamlight Valley just to do something because I was getting a little bit bored, but it's different because Dreamlight Valley is really relaxing. I don't know if you are familiar with that game, but it's like about Disney characters, but it's really chilled and relaxing, nothing like The Sims, because when I make houses in The Sims, it requires a major mental effort because everything needs to be nice, so then I can record a video, post it on YouTube, upload the house in the gallery. Also, when I said that it took me a really long time to finish up the building, I forgot to mention that that's also because I built it twice, and this is the second attempt. Let me explain why, basically. So actually, first of all, allow me to make a little premise, because what you're seeing here are just like 30 to like 30 minutes of video, but there are actually days of planning and attempts behind every build that I make. Like in the video, you see me doing things kind of fast. You see that the shell and things in general come together pretty quickly, but that's because I first had worked on that stuff off screen, because I don't like to start recording straight away, but I like to first plan things. So off screen, I normally start building the shell of the house, decide the floor plan, the style that I'm going for, and in this case, the layout of the exterior, like the garden, because that one was one of the hardest part of the house. Then when I have an idea of what I'm going for, I take screenshots of everything and I actually start recording. And this process allows me to not end up with a lot of hours of useless footage of me trying different ideas to see which one works better. And I think it's probably like that for a lot of creators who make speed build videos on YouTube. However, there are also people out there who are very good at building and are very good at improvising. And if you're one of those people who just open The Sims, open OBS, and start recording straight away, and then the final result is great, is amazing, I really respect you, because I could never. I need to plan things ahead. And that's because I like to try different options to see which one looks the best. Like my brain, when I build, is like, oh, this looks good, it looks great, but what if there's something that looks better? This is my constant thought. So I like to try different options. So it's definitely not a fast process, and all to say that that's why I ended up with building this house twice. I liked my first attempt, but there was something off with the actual house. I can't tell you what it is, but I didn't like it. However, I was really happy with the garden, so I was like, do you know what? Let me try to build the house again and see what happens. So I did it, and I ended up liking the second version more. And if you're curious to see my first attempt, I'm going to pop a screenshot of it on the screen now. You can tell me which one you like more. You can also say that you maybe like the first version more rather than this one. Just be honest. I'm curious to know. You can also tell that the two shells look nothing alike. However, I'm very proud of how the second one turned out because I wasn't following any reference picture. I was improvising, which is something that I don't do a lot, and we've talked about that. Normally, even if I'm not trying to recreate a house, I would still like Google something for reference, but this time I just tried to follow the vision that I had in my head. Another thing which I really didn't like about the first house that I built was the floor plan. It might not seem from the picture, but the first house was bigger than this one. This one ends up being quite small actually. We just have like two bedrooms and like three small bathrooms. You'll see but when I'm furnishing the inside, but the other one instead was bigger and it had a lot of rooms and it wasn't really what I was going for. I didn't want like a big living room with a separate dining room and a study room. Those are the rooms that were in the first house. I wanted something small and cozy, so the more I was furnishing it, the more I was realizing that one of the main reasons I didn't feel like continuing with that house was the actual interior. So I ended up building everything again on a 40 by 30 lot in Brindleton Bay, and I think that this lot is the perfect size for the vision that I had. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the other house was on a 30 by 20 lot. It actually started off on the 50 by 40 lot, and then I moved it onto the 30 by 20 lot. But anyway, let me explain the vision that I have for this house, that I had for this house. Basically, because recently The Sims released two new kits, one of which is a greenhouse kit, and it comes with like new gardening objects, vases, and flower pots. And last but not least, it gives you all the assets to create a proper greenhouse. So because of that, I really wanted to build something in that theme that would give me the chance to use all the new stuff. So I thought of building a self-sufficient farmhouse, or as I said before, like a homestead with a farmhouse. I still don't know what to call it, but I think homestead is the right name because I'm going to later do a little garden with a lot of planters, and as every homestead would have, there's a small greenhouse too, which you saw me doing before. I also struggled a lot to kind of choose the direction for this building because I didn't want to make a big traditional farm with like cows and stuff. I just wanted to build a cute family homestead. And even though this house ends up having some of the traditional farm elements, it's not really a proper farm. It's like something in between, I'd say. Now let's talk about the building because there's actually a lot to say. As you can see, I am working on the front of the house, and big news, for the first time we have a pond. I thought that a small pond would be fun to have here because I think that the perfect homestead would have a pond. It's good for biodiversity, I think, and it also looks really nice with all the flowers and stuff. I have to admit that I had a lot of fun because I was looking at all the different colors of the water and I couldn't choose which one to go for. Like when I had to do the pond, my indecision really kicked in. I couldn't even choose the flowers that I wanted to use anymore. I was like so overwhelmed. But anyway, in general, I had so much fun building this house and decorating it because I got the chance to use a lot of stuff that I never used before and that I normally don't get the chance to use. I used a lot of debug stuff. Most of the items you saw me placing down outside are from debug. Especially I used a lot of debug flowers and trees, and that's because I recently downloaded a mod which is for more organized debug, and that was life-changing, I have to say, because now all the debug is organized into their respective categories and it's so handy, especially because with the mod you can also copy whatever debug item you're using, because normally you can't use the copy tool on debug. And when you're landscaping, it's really handy because you can just press shift and copy the item. Anyway, as you could see next to the pond, I placed down some patches to create like a vegetable patch, and next to it we have a shed. And it wasn't my intention in the beginning to build a shed because there's the garage already, which was supposed to be like the storage space for all the farm and gardening tools and stuff, but then I decided to turn the garage into a third bedroom. Because of that, I built the shed. And the third bedroom, I still don't know who's gonna sleep in there. I thought maybe it was for guests or maybe for a teen. I don't know, we'll see. But to access the shed, we actually have like this big sliding door from a kit, but I can't remember the name of the kit. Maybe I think the Quarter de Max. I'm not sure, I might be wrong, so I don't know. But anyway, I really like that door because it looks like a barn door, I think. I'm gonna furnish the shed later on when I do the garden and the greenhouse. I also placed down some hay bales on the left hand side of the building. You saw me doing that before. Even though they don't really have animals to feed the hay to, maybe they grow it and then sell it to other farmers. I'm also going to place down a chicken coop in the back garden, so maybe they use some of the hay for to create like a chicken shelter with the hay. I don't know. I don't know if it's logical or not, but you know, not everything that we place down in The Sims needs to have a logic behind it. It looked nice, so that's the logic, you know? That's the logic most of the time behind some of the Sims builds. I know that this voiceover is going to be a little bit all over the place because there are so many things to say, so I'm really sorry for that if I'm like jumping from one thing to another, but as I see things or as I remember about something, I just say it because otherwise I'm going to forget. Anyway, moving on to the inside of the house. The first room you see me furnishing is the living room. I love that space because it feels cozy and rustic. My vision for the interior of the house was to go for stuff which looks rustic as the exterior does. I think the exterior looks really rustic, especially with the bricks and the wood. But I also imagined that this family recently renovated this house and maybe repainted all the walls, but decided to leave some of the walls with the original exposed bricks. And those bricks are from Cottage Living. I love that wallpaper. It's one of my favorites, especially for like accent walls, or I also use that as the backsplash in the kitchen. Also for the furniture, I wanted to go for furniture which doesn't look too new, not too old, not too worn out. I know that doesn't mean anything, but I kind of imagined that some of the pieces inside this house, some of the furniture pieces, the family kept from like the grandparents maybe, but others are new. Also, I tried to include pieces which look handcrafted, or I kind of imagined that this family did craft some of the furniture pieces that are in this house. For example, the shelf that I placed down from Eco Lifestyle, I think. Yeah, that one really looks like it's been, crafted by someone, because it's really like raw looking and really rustic looking. So I really like this concept. And I imagine that this house has been also passed down through generations, but doesn't look old or run down because it's very well kept. The family really takes care of it. Also, these people are doers, so they probably renovated and repainted the house themselves, or they like to fix stuff themselves if something breaks down. I'm also using like a lot of the growing together pack for this house, but I love the couch, just fits the vibes so well. And also, I'm using the fireplace from Cottage Living, and I'm so happy because finally I get the chance to use it. Normally, I don't use that fireplace because it looks really rustic for the style of house that I normally build, but it was perfect for this one with the exposed bricks. It matches so well with the furniture and with the color scheme of the room. Actually, it's the furniture that matches the fireplace, because the fireplace is the first thing that I placed down because I immediately knew I wanted to use it in this house even before I started thinking about it inside. And then we have like a very small dining space, which I made super bright and airy using the new windows from the greenhouse kit. I love those windows. That kit is really good in terms of building assets. I love the new windows. I love the new doors too. We basically have like a window which comes in two different variants, and you could probably see me using both of them when I did the greenhouse. And one is like normal one, I don't know, just a normal window, but the other one has the upper part open, and I really like that detail. I love when The Sims try to go for realism, and I feel like that window with the upper part open looks really realistic, because in real life, not all the windows are maybe shut, but some of them might be open. Also, I love the swatches of the window of the new windows and of the doors. I feel like they did a really good job this time because they gave us a lot of new swatches, but the idea was to almost create like a sunroom where the living room is, but not really like a full sunroom with a lot of windows, maybe just like a half sunroom just where the dining table is. And I imagine that the Sims who live here most of the time sit outside for lunch and dinner because they have such a beautiful outdoor space. So you'll see I'm going to place down like a proper dining table outside with a lot of chairs. So because right now we just have four chairs, and I don't think all the Sims that live in this house can sit all together at the table with just four chairs, because I imagine that there are more than four people. But yeah, moving on to the kitchen, I went for the cottage living counters, and for some reason I was really attracted by that yellow and wood swatch, so I decided to use them because I feel like it's really rare for me to go for a very colorful kitchen. I tend to use a lot of neutral tones, but this time I wanted something fun and cottagey feeling, so I chose that swatch and I paired it with the stove, the yellow stove from Growing Together. I told you this house is either Growing Together or Cottage Living. I feel like I'm just using those two packs, but they just go very well together. And I have a funny story about a kitchen. Actually, it's not really funny, but it's really painful to watch this video and watch myself doing the kitchen, because when I loaded into this lot again to furnish the upstairs, I noticed that all my kitchen clutter was gone, and I was so pissed. Like, you saw me placing down all that clutter on the shelves, on the counters, and now it's all gone. I even had to cut out some of the footage where I placed down all the objects because it took me a really long time because of the auto placement thing, and things kept snapping everywhere. And now I kind of regret having open shelving, but it felt really nice for a house like this. It just brings that cottagey feeling that I was trying to go for the kitchen. So anyway, there are like 4 shelves in the kitchen full of clutter. So and now they are empty. So now I have to take screenshots of this video so I can go and place everything down again. I don't know why it happens. I feel like sometimes when you try to like change the wallpaper, just the wallpaper, not like delete any wall or anything, sometimes things get deleted for some reason. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but it's happening to me quite a lot, and I feel like that was the reason why. Anyway, as you could see in the kitchen, I also placed down some of the items from the new kit, but I'm also gonna use a lot of those items in the greenhouse, of course. And real quick, I wanna talk about the room that I was furnishing before. That's the mudroom. I really wanted to include a cute mudroom with a laundry and a space for pets in this house, because I don't know, it felt like this house needed something like that, especially because the mudroom is right off the greenhouse. So it was perfect for me. I don't know why. As you could see, there's like a big glass door which gives access to the greenhouse. And on the right hand side, there was like a small laundry. And there's also like a lot of, not a lot, a couple of shelves with some laundry stuff. But thankfully, that stuff is still there. Just the kitchen stuff is gone. But I really like how that room turned out. We have like a little pet corner with a litter box, a pet bowl, and some like dirty newspapers to make it look more realistic and lived in. And I also placed down the ottoman from the laundry stuff bag, because maybe when the Sims get into the house with their rain boots on, which are maybe dirty, or they maybe are wearing dirty shoes because they were, gardening outside, they sit there, they sit on that ottoman and change their shoes or take their shoes off. Now, moving on to the room which I'm more excited about, because it's the new room. It's the one that I built using the new kit, and that's the greenhouse. And to make it, of course, I used the new windows and doors. I also decided that I wanted to make it look like someone left the door of the greenhouse open. So what I did was to drew a wall diagonally. You saw me doing that in the beginning of the video, but I didn't have the chance to mention it. And then on that wall, I placed one of the new windows and I deleted the wall, and it looks really good from the front of the house. We need more open doors like that in The Sims. I feel like it would give a realistic touch to the house. But anyway, for the wall on the outside, I went for the new wallpaper, but you can't really see it because the walls are covered with windows, but I used that. I also wanted to use that wallpaper to have kind of an accent wall on the outside, but it didn't look good, so I just ended up changing it and just using it in the greenhouse. And also, if you buy the new kit, you get the glass roof, like a new glass roof to obviously build a greenhouse, and you also get like a roof piece. I don't know how to call it, but you saw me placing this piece in the beginning. I hope you know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, and I also used the tile from the new kit, which I really like. I like the small weeds coming through the tile, and I decided to go for that terracotta looking swatch. It's my favorite. In the greenhouse, I also placed down some plants from growing together, and behind those plants we have like some pet food, just because right by the entrance we have like the pet corner, so maybe they kept some of the food for the pets in the greenhouse because there isn't much space in the mudroom. And honestly, the greenhouse is quite small, but I feel like I didn't need a huge one, because in there I still managed to fit everything that I wanted to have. I try to obviously use all the new stuff from the new kit, because that was the entire purpose of this building. We have the new table where I put on top this item that comes with the new kit, which has like a pot and what looks like to be maybe a bag of soil and seeds. So it looks like someone has been working on that table and was maybe planting some seeds. Then we have a couple of shelves from the new kit, and I really like the shelf with the metal and the wood. On top of the shelves, I put like some plant starters in two different swatches. Basically, one swatch has like the sprout, and the other pots instead are just empty. They're just soil, and I like the idea of the pots being like different, but like not just the color of the pots is different, also what's inside. So I think that's really cool. And then we have like a watering can. Then we have another table which is more for like displaying plants or just for like putting all the plants and pots on it. And at the bottom we find some pots stuck on top of each other, a bag of soil, or what I imagine to be a bag of soil. It's from the cottage living debug, but you saw that I used that item a lot. Then on top of it, we have some plants from the base game and the plant starters, which are so cute. I was about to put two of those new tables, but instead I decided to swap one of them for that item that I think it's from Seasons. I might be wrong. I don't know how it's called, but I think it's really cute. It's like a table for arranging flowers, I guess. And I love the details on it, especially the yellow rain boots. They also made me envision how this family dresses up. And I've mentioned the rain boots before, but I imagine that each family member has a pair of rain boots, and also I imagine that they wear a lot of flannel shirts, very typical of the farmers' fashion. Maybe they pair those rain boots with a raincoat too, in case they have to stay out in the rain when they are gardening, or maybe the kids dress up with the raincoat and the rain boots when they go out to play in the rain. I imagine that the kids of this family love to play in like puddles, and they don't need much to have fun. They really like to play outside rather than spending a lot of time indoors playing maybe with computer games. And I imagine that whenever they have the chance to run outside to play, they just do it. They do it straight away. You could see before that I was working on the garden that I also mentioned in the beginning of the video. You saw me like placing down a lot of planters, and I decided to separate them using the lowest half wall. However, when I went to play test this house, I noticed that the Sims could not use the planters because of the half walls, so I had to swap the half walls for the low fence from base game. It's okay, I liked the half walls more, but it's fine because right now the planters are actually functional. But I really like the idea of having like some separation between the planters, because maybe this family like grow different types of vegetables and fruit, so they're separated and they're put into groups. As you could see before in the garden, I also decided to use the tiles from the new kit, as I mentioned, and I think it looks better on the outside rather than in the greenhouse. I also placed down that table from Seasons, that it's like the flower arranging table. I thought it was like obviously a necessity here. I also decided to have the garden fenced off so it could be separated from the rest of the backyard. And in that area, we also find the chicken coop. I also decided to create some separation between the garden and the area where the chicken coop is, just to create a little fenced space for the chickens, because I imagined that maybe during the day the chickens are free to roam around, but at night they close the gate and the chickens sleep safe in there. And since I had a little space in the garden, I decided to create like another fenced area where they keep some stuff that they need for the chickens. I put some hay there. I placed down a bucket that they maybe use to feed the chickens, some soil bags that they might need for the planters, all the necessities or the gardening necessities. Even though they have the shed, I thought that it would be kind of nice to have that little fenced space where they keep all the gardening necessities. So, maybe they need something and they just grab it. But of course, your Sims can't use them. They are from debug. Most of them are from debug. I also placed down a debug fence and it doesn't even open. So your Sims can't access that little fenced area. But I thought it was cute. It's like a garage. It looks nice, but there's no functionality in it. It's for the aesthetics, let's say. I also decided to landscape a little bit that area because it looked a little bit too empty, and I tried to play a little bit with the terrain paint. As I mentioned before, for the landscaping here, I used a lot of plants and flowers from debug, especially from the cottage living debug. I just love them. And another thing that I absolutely adore is the yellow flower from Growing Together. I am absolutely obsessed with it. I just love it. And also, what else? Well, I'm actually going to talk about the backyard real quick. We have like a little area in the back where I placed down a table with the benches in like a private little corner that I filled in with a lot of flowers and bushes. I thought it was nice to have like a place to sit down, maybe a little bit more hidden. On the other side, instead, we have some flowers and I placed down a swing from Seasons. However, in the end, I will swap that swing for one of the swing, actually for the swing from the little campers kit, because I liked it more, and it's made of wood, that one, and it just goes better with the concept that I was talking about before, that this family like to craft things. So that one being made of wood, it seems more appropriate. It seems like they bought some wood and turn it into a swing set and then maybe decorate it with some flowers. I really like the idea. In the beginning, I placed down that one because I thought that I didn't want to use the little campers kit just for a swing, but it just looks so much better, and I'm definitely not limiting packs for this build, so I decided in the end to swap them. Anyway, as you could see, I was furnishing the balcony before. As you could see, there's a balcony. And for some reason, I realized that this is the third house in a row that I built with a balcony. But it wasn't planned, it just happened. You probably didn't see it because I cut that part out, but I actually had to make a lot of cuts because this video was too long, but I cut the part out when I'm placing the flowers on the pergola. As you know me, it's a thing that I like to do a lot. So it's not the first time that I do it, and I thought it wasn't that important to see, but overall I really like how the backyard turned out. First of all, I love the look of all the different flowers together. It makes everything so colorful. Then there's also a lot of activities to do. There's a covered porch slash pergola with a grill, a table with some chairs, because as I mentioned before, most of the time when they eat all together, I imagine they would sit outside. And I also placed down the laundry, the thingy to do the laundry. So yeah, they have a lot of things to do. There's also a telescope. I just really like it. Yeah, then you saw me furnishing also the shed of the house that I mentioned before. The whole idea for it was to create like a space where the family could maybe work on the things they want to craft, but also which serves as like a storage room. So in there, I put the woodworking table, but also some random stuff. They have some tires, a rusty old wheel. Really, there are so many random things in there, including like a shelf where I put the board games off from Growing Together. I imagine that whenever they want to get rid of something, or they feel like they don't want to use that thing anymore, or they don't want that thing in the house anymore, they just throw it in that shed. So there's a bunch of random items. There's also an oxygen tank. Don't ask me why, but as I said in the beginning, I had so much fun building this house because I could use all the random things that I never get to use. Like, when are you gonna use an oxygen tank? I don't know. This family just have it in the shed just in case they need it. They're prepared for everything. But as you can see, the order in which I build and furnish this house is really random. I was jumping around a lot between the outside and the inside of the house. Now I moved back onto the inside and I'm like working on the upstairs. As you could see, I was doing the hallway. Oh, actually, let me just say something first. You probably noticed that I didn't include the footage of me doing the floor plan of this house, so you might be a little bit lost with where the rooms are. And I know it's a little bit hard to understand the layout of the house with me just, jumping around and moving really fast. So I'm going to post screenshots from the top of the house so you can see the layout better. As always, wait until the end of the video to see the screenshots of the final result. I know that this video is really long. Hopefully you're still with me. We're almost done, don't worry, but I didn't want to cut too much out of the video because I'm really proud of this build. So I wanted to leave as much footage as I could. However, even with a lot of cuts, this video is over 40 minutes long. So I hope that you prepared a snack or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee as I have here with me now. Anyway, I hope that I am keeping you company for these 40 minutes, and I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I know that I've been rambling a lot, but I don't want to run out of things to say, and there's actually a lot to say about this house. So I am trying to explain what I'm doing, but also I'm taking other tangents as well. Otherwise, I would really run out of things to say. But yeah, you see me now furnishing the upstairs. As I said, I was furnishing the hallway, which is not really big, but I like that in that always there's a lot of light because there's a big door off to the balcony, and I wanted the door to the balcony to be in the hallway so everyone could access the balcony without the need to go into someone's room. The door that I used is the same one that I used as the front door, and it's one of my favorite doors. I love that it takes up all the wall space. In the hallway, there's also like a desk, which is actually a table from Cats and Dogs, but I like it more than the desk options that we have because it looks more rustic and matches the vibes of the house more. And on the table, there's a computer, if I can remember correctly, with some clutter, and that was the only computer of the house, so everyone will use that computer and will share it. As I said before, this family, the kids don't like having to spend too much time indoors. They like outdoor activities, so there is no need to place like multiple computers in different rooms, as I sometimes tend to do. One is enough. Also, I imagined that this family isn't really into technology. They're not technological at all. I don't know if you remember or if you had seen it, but the TV that I placed down in the living room isn't really like the most fancy TV, isn't really super modern or like the latest model. I did that on purpose because they don't need to spend too much time watching the TV. They just don't need to do that. They have a lot of things to do in the garden, but they like sometimes to maybe watch the news or to watch some old Western movies in the evening. I'm really well aware that I've placed down a TV in the parents' bedroom, but I didn't know what else to put there. So I placed down another TV. But yeah, in general, as I said, this house has three bedrooms, and the first bedroom that I was furnishing is the master bedroom, which belongs to the parent. I'm calling it the master bedroom, but it's not bigger than the other one, which belongs to the kid. However, the master bedroom is has an ensuite bathroom, so that's why I'm calling it the master bedroom, but it belongs to the parent, and the other room instead belongs to the kids. And I decided to put two beds that are from the university pack, and I really like the vibes in there. It looks really almost like a little bit more sophisticated compared to other rooms, but I thought that, I don't know, it was cute to maybe have it a little bit more soft looking. I love how those two beds look with the chest of drawers from Cats and Dogs. Anyway, I have a really fun story about the bathrooms of this house because basically we have three bathrooms in this house, but all of them are small. But I was furnishing the ensuite bathroom first upstairs, and I placed down like a shower, a sink, and a toilet, and then I went to furnish, I think, the bathroom that's downstairs, but that one is too small to fit a tub or a shower, so I just used a sink and a toilet in there. And then I went back upstairs to furnish the other bathroom, and I was like, this bathroom is too small, so I can't fit a shower or a tub. I was like, that's fine. But then I realized that if I didn't put a tub or a shower, then the only shower in the house was the one in the parents' bathroom. So I was like, no, I can't do this. It's not realistic that everyone has to go through the parents' bedroom into their bathroom to shower every time they need it. So I had to change the layout of the bathroom upstairs. I had to change it completely to fit a tub. So in the end, I managed to fit a tub in there, but I had to delete the toilet because there wasn't space for the two of them. I rather have the tub than another toilet because we have the toilet downstairs, so it's okay. And the last room that I'm furnishing is the teens bedroom. I don't know if this is going to be a teens bedroom or a guest bedroom. I try to keep it pretty generic because I didn't know if this family has a teen or not, or if this room is just for guests. When grandma comes to visit, she can sleep in there or not. I don't know. In any case, this room looks a lot more modern compared to the other rooms. It still has that country look, but I feel like it's a little bit more modern, it's a little bit more colorful and fun, so it might belong to a teen because we also have like a guitar in there. Anyway, with the teens slash guest room, we've reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave me a like and subscribe to my channel. I had so much fun building this house. I hope you had so much fun watching me building this house too, and I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry if I haven't asked you because I was just talking about the house, but I hope you're doing well, and thank you for staying with me for over 40 minutes. I hope you're still here with me actually, and with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!